So I just wanted to do a review video of the Ceeport Hydrocolloid Dressings. This is a self-adherent wound dressing that's designed for wounds with lower amounts of drainage. One thing I really like about these hydrocolloid dressings is how flexible they are. They move really nicely with the body, which makes them a lot more comfortable in areas that bend or experience friction. This dressing is self-adherent, so it sticks directly to the skin without needing additional cover dressings over top. It is also waterproof, which makes it great because it protects the wound from outside contaminants while still maintaining a moist wound healing environment underneath. So hydrocolloid dressings, they do absorb a small amount of exudate, and it creates this gel-like environment over the wound surfaces, which actually supports the healing process. They also provide a little bit of cushion and protect from friction, which is one of the reasons that I really like them for blisters. And because they're waterproof, it makes them really convenient for everyday activities compared to bulkier dressing. These type of dressings are commonly used for stage 1 and 2 pressure injuries, leg ulcers with low drainage, first and second degree burns, donor sites, skin grafts, post-operative wounds, traumatic wounds, and blisters. Recently, I had a blister on the back of my heel. So I did throw one of these on and it worked perfectly. I threw it on. I still had to wear the shoes because I didn't have anything else with me, and it did not bug me at all. I couldn't feel the blister. I couldn't feel that rubbing, the friction anymore. And then I happened to go into the pool. I was in there for about an hour, and this dressing actually stayed. So I've had other hydrocolloids. I am a wound care specialist, so I use these dressings quite frequently. Now I've had other hydrocolloid dressings. They kind of like the corners start to lift in the shower, but not these ones. I was actually really surprised because they are waterproof, but I always tell my patients that showering, yes, okay, but for soaking in water, not so much. These ones, I was in the pool for an hour and it was like a barely, not even a millimeter ring around the outside. Like it was just slightly white in this area, but I didn't have to change this dressing. It was completely fine where my blister was. There was no issues, no reason to change it whatsoever. It wasn't lifting, and I was actually able to leave the same hydrocolloid dressing on until the blister was healed. So they are good for up to 7 days. One thing to note, even though they're great, it kept the water out perfectly fine, waterproof, yes, but they are not meant for heavy drainage. So the hydrocolloid underneath, it can actually absorb small amounts of drainage, not heavy amounts of drainage. It does keep water out, but it forms that gel on the inside. Now, if there's too much heavy drainage, it's not going to stick properly. This is not the dressing for moderate to heavy amounts of drainage. Low amounts of drainage, perfect. They also should not be used on 3rd degree burns. So I actually do have a wound here. Now to apply this, it has this little tab here. And so you just peel that off. This is the backing. And then this piece comes off. So this is your hydrocolloid. Very, very thin. Okay, now you just place this directly over your wound base, just like that. Touch it on the inside so it's touching the actual wound base. Now, I absolutely love these because they can stay on for, like I said, up to 7 days unless they start lifting, get saturated, or start bubbling out. If you see exudate going outside, you want to remove it at that point because it will macerate the skin. But these are absolutely wonderful because it heals things so well without messing with the wound constantly. You honestly don't need to constantly be changing your wound dressings. The longer they can stay on, as long as they're clean, dry, they look good, you can leave these on and it will heal very, very well. So I really, really like these hydrocolloid dressings because when I put it on my skin and I tested it out, I absolutely loved it compared to any of the other hydrocolloids that I had been using in my practice. So this one from Ceeport, definitely the brand that I'll be using and recommending.